Hello.
Hey, how are you?
How's
Hola.
it going?
No.
It's going good.
Going well.
Are you
One second,
still
let
in
me
the
turn
middle?
on. I'm still streaming. Are you streaming? Can I host?
Yes, you can host. You can
And then I
host.
can switch my camera on, and then you can set up that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. I'm trying something a little bit different today, so trying to have Skype, mic's camera still on Skype while talking to you guys, because I know sometimes it sucks not to see me. Right? Right, Adagio?
Yeah, it sucks not seeing you, man.
Because
It's
I'm
horrible.
beautiful.
Exactly, man.
Yeah. Alright, let's see. There we go. And your layout looks really nice, Gilly. Really appreciate that.
You are welcome, sir.
Alright. Then Adagio. Oh no!
There's
It
a
did.
green screen there.
That's okay. I'm fine with it.
You can also chroma key it out if you'd like.
Eh,
OBS will let you do it.
they don't look weird.
Will
Got
it?
you in a box, yeah.
Okay, that works.
You'll just look like a professional. We'll look like
God
chumps with
dang,
our
I
dirty
forgot I
clothes in the
was talking
background. Alright. Oh, there's... okay, so what's happening is... Okay, sorry. I keep hitting the mute button because Control is my mute button. And I'm trying to adjust the things on OBS, and you have to hit Control to do it really slowly. Sorry about that. How are you doing, Miztech?
Not bad.
Not
It's
bad.
been a really hilarious night. So I haven't been able to actually try the benchmark, but I was doing the character creation just now, and it's great.
Oh, yeah? I haven't tried the character creation yet.
You should. I recommend it, especially if you're looking into the male aura.
I don't know if I am, actually. I don't know. I'm just not that
I
appealing.
didn't think I would be either, but I like them a lot more than the females, so I'm considering.
Oh, you're
but
going
we'll
to do a
see.
gender change?
Maybe. I don't know. It's I don't usually, and I don't even think I might change my main character, but I think my alt I will definitely consider greatly changing.
Yeah.
It was just awesome.
I saw a lot of cool character creations on some streams earlier today. But the only thing I did was to benchmark, and I was like, yeah, my number's good enough. I'm happy. That was it. Oh, gosh. Sorry, this is kind of boring.
No problem.
Alright. Okay, so the risky thing I'm doing right now is, again, having my camera up in Skype. And if for some reason I drop, it's going to mess all the cameras up. But we're going to take a risk tonight, because I want you guys to be able to see me.
Shotgun.
Yeah. Alright. And well, it looks alright. Just a little bit pixelated because it downgrades the version. I don't know if I can make my size bigger. Can I make it bigger? Oh, that messes everything up. No, I'm not even going to try. Okay. Does everything look good on the stream? I don't have it up at the moment.
Yeah, it looks
That's
pretty
from
good.
what I can see.
Alright, cool.
Is my my mic too loud or too quiet?
I think it sounds pretty good to me,
Pretty good,
but we
yeah.
should ask the people who are viewing right now.
Yes,
The people who
let's
want
do
to set
that.
up. So I'm going to do a quick test. This is me, 1, 2, 3. Gilly, do a test.
Mic check.
Adagio.
Testing, testing.
And Miztech.
Hello, loud, soft, too loud, too obnoxious. Let me know.
I think it sounds perfect because Skype does things like that. It adjusts your volume.
Yeah, it's messed up.
So
That's why I don't like it.
Is that why you don't like Skype?
I actually don't like it because it has a lot of security issues that I'm not comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And I also don't use it as much anymore, I think. I used to use it quite a lot a long time ago, and then they sort of changed everything, and because I'm sort of like an old person, I don't
You're-
like change.
An old person?
Yes, I'm quite old.
Oh,
Not
okay.
really.
I guess so. I don't know.
feel old.
No, I thought
Yeah,
everyone
a couple
who
of people are
streams.
saying that Miz is a little louder than everyone else, but
Oh,
that's
I'm
alright.
okay.
Right?
I can turn it down.
Oh, there we go. I was wondering why nothing was showing up in my chat. I gotta reopen it. There we go. Alright, we're back. Got everyone in there. Do you have a mic for pasta?
Ugh, she's gonna be walking all over the desk.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw the other podcast, but I was wearing this like mustache.
Yes,
It's
we
made
did
out of
see
cardboard.
that.
And she just keeps trying to pick it up off the desk and is walking around with this in her mouth. It's the most hilarious thing ever, but it's also very annoying.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
no.
Is Mike better? I turned it down a bit, so chat, let us know.
Yeah, definitely chat, let us know. I mean, we still got 4 more minutes, and that'll be our countdown. If
Okay.
you're still too loud then we'll just kind of live with obnoxious Miztech.
They're used to it, I guess.
Gotcha. Okay, and everything else looks pretty good. I'm going to just run through the frames, by the way, real quick. And make sure everything looks okay. Live letter. Did you watch the live letter, Miztech? Or not
No, I
watch it,
didn't.
but, you know.
I sort of read like the Cliff's Notes, and I've been playing a bit with the character creation and stuff, but that's about it.
Okay.
I'm usually asleep when they happen.
No,
Although
I
this
see.
time they were pretty, I guess, at night for us. It was like 10 o'clock at night, but I was busy.
I gotcha. Alright, well, then what I'm going to do is go back to the intro screen so you guys can't see us anymore and hide us. And I apologize if my dogs go crazy during the middle of this too. Unfortunately, like your cat, my dogs are not like your cat. My dogs bark. And they can be kind of surprising every once in a while. Can you guys see me okay? Is this video fading out or anything?
No, you're doing good, man.
Okay. Cool. Let's put some star onions back on for the next couple of minutes. And you can type all you want to, and I'm not going to be too upset if it comes over the mic.
Oh, I forgot about that. My keyboard's gonna be really clunky.
Sorry, do you play with mechanical? Nope. Did you mute yourself?
I did.
Nice.
I do. Mechanical. Those
Nah.
glorious brown switches.
I can't do it because if I do, it makes a really, really loud noise and annoys everyone around me.
Yes,
So we're
but
still-
it's worth it.
Still live.
Yeah, we're still live. Sorry. We're live, but we don't have the cameras on for now. We're just letting it kind of chill for a second. And what time do you have to wake up in the morning, Miztech?
It depends. I'm supposed to wake up much earlier than I actually do. I usually wake up 5 minutes before I have to leave, and it's a hectic morning every day. But
That's amazing.
it's bad. But I usually wake up at 7:30ish or so.
Okay. And that's Eastern?
Mhm.
Yeah. That's about the exact same time I wake up, I think. Well, maybe a little bit earlier. So, we're on the same page here. We both want
You're
to sleep.
lucky. You're lucky.
I guess so. What time do you wake up?
5:30?
5:30. Nice. Well, 5:30 my time, but...
No, 5:30 my time. Eastern.
Yeah, I know. And
It's like, what, 2:30 your time then?
yeah. Jesus. Alright. Well, let's just go ahead and get this ball on the roll, or whatever you want to say. Let's switch over the screens. And everything still looks good. Nothing exploded yet.
Good.
Good. Alright, well, welcome everybody. Today is Monday, April 24th, or no, is it 24th? It's 27th. I already forgot, 2015. And this is actually MogTalk episode 10. It's our 10th anniversary, guys. I don't know if you realize this. Yeah. And well, it'd be technically our 11th if you count the pilot, but, you know. Well, tonight we are going to be having Gilly Valentine with us tonight. He's actually going to be our newscaster coming
What
from
is
now
up, guys?
on. Yeah. And then we have Adagio Adante.
Hey guys, how you doing?
And then our special guest tonight is MTQ Capture, aka Miztech.
Hello.
So, how is everybody doing tonight? Did you guys have a good week?
Last
Yeah,
week or
pretty
this
good
week?
so far.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll say the week starts on Monday. Did you have a good week with that, in fact?
Today was a good week, yes.
No, last week.
Oh my god.
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, is
No.
one day really a week? I think he means last week, though.
Of
Yeah.
course I mean last week. Since the last show. Which Miztech, of course, watched, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, my week personally was kind of not so great, but I think in the Final Fantasy world and the game world. It was much better. So work life, not so much, but the rest was good. Coming home was good. And that's what I focus on.
What's going on at work? Or you just have bad
Ugh,
employees? Or-
just, you know how you get to that point where no matter how much you like your job when you start, there comes a time where maybe it's just me, but it's just not going well.
Okay. That's alright. You can always change jobs, alright?
Maybe. We'll
Maybe.
see.
You can just
Maybe.
you do this for a living almost at this point, can't you?
Ugh, I don't know. It's quite hard to do this type of thing for a living, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I'll
It's all
support you.
about time.
Gilly, how are you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there.
Hanging in there?
Everyone's so happy.
Yeah.
At least we're realistic, right? We're just normal people.
I'm doing fantastic. I'm gonna skip you, Adagio, because I don't really care. But I'm doing fantastic.
You know what? Hey, I'm going anyways. Okay, right? I'm going anyways. I'm doing fantastic as well.
Okay.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Balances
Excellent.
me out.
Actually, I got paint all over my fingers because we're redoing my child's room. But other than that, doing pretty good.
All
What
right.
color is the paint?
It's gray.
Show
Did
us.
a gray carpet.
That's
Well,
really
actually,
boring,
I just
kids,
scrubbed it
I
off.
admit.
But Ian,
It's
hey,
kind of
hey.
depressing.
hey, it looks
Show
awesome.
us your manly pedicured nails.
Exactly. All right. Well, tonight we're going to be going over a little bit of news, which is going to be all Gilly tonight, and we're going to go over the Nico live letter, which I've gathered whatever information I can. It's been really hard actually getting real information from it, but we'll see what we got, and you guys can call us liars if we say anything wrong. And then we're going to have a Q&A with Miztech, who's going to give us lots of interesting information about her life.
As
'Cause there's so
always,
much
we
of
will
that.
strap her to the chair and continue to ask her questions she doesn't want to answer.
Exactly.
Oh no, I should have prepared for this.
Yeah, we should have too, and we should have got duct tape or something. But all right, well, let's go ahead and jump into the news. Are you ready, Gilly?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. All right, go with it, man. Go with it.
Alright, so recently we found a study on Lodestone about 730,000 active characters as of April 2015. And pretty much half eligible for 3.0. Apparently, like half of that number hasn't done the 2.55 story yet. And I think there was also a study like half the people who haven't even got their veteran rewards due to people unsubbing. And it was kind of awesome, like when they were breaking it down to like how many minions were given out, how many of the cloud costumes were given out, and what else were they giving out? Minions, glamour accessories too as well.
Yeah. There was an interesting thing I found in there. I don't know if you have it pulled up right now about how many people's actually cleared T13.
Yeah, it's like 200. No, that's the wrong one. That's 36,000 people have cleared T13, or at least final coil, I should say.
And divide that by 8. What are we looking at? We're looking at like 600 static groups or something?
About
Is that about
roughly,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, and so that's kind of, I guess that's right. Miztech, what do you think about those numbers? Do you think that sounds about right?
It does sound right, I guess, because okay, so they're pulling all of this from the lodestone, right, and from people's achievements.
Mhm.
And to me, it somewhat makes sense. It's a little weird seeing an actual number, because you know how they're all like secretive about it. They don't really have actual stats. There's no like world of logs, nothing. And so to like have other people go and like do the math for it, it's always nice to see, but it's also kind of weird because it is quite a low number, at least compared to other bigger MMOs that we won't talk about. But
Right.
it's honestly not that bad though. Like that's actually a pretty interesting number. It sort of talks a bit about the, I guess, environment or the atmosphere of the game and like the player base. Because I think a lot of people do play this game sort of on and off or a bit more casually, and maybe end game rating isn't as important to certain people. And it also goes back to the original, like Yoshi P used to say that like 1% of the population would clear turn 5, and so it sort of like has kept that number all the way up until turn 13, which I find really kind of cool. But it's interesting, definitely interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what server are you on again? You're on Behemoth, right?
Behemoth, yes.
Yeah. So 490 people have cleared it on Behemoth.
Really?
Does that sound right?
It actually makes me feel special, but it's really interesting to see that. But I guess we also don't really know the true population of the game, if that makes sense. We're just going by what the achievements on the lodestone mean, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the best we can do. And I guess that sounds actually kind of high for me. They were saying something like 4 million active subscriptions or accounts or something like that. And, you know, when you hear that number, you're like, yeah, okay, maybe like a tenth of that actually are real players, right? And here, like, about 700,000 or so are actually active and out there doing stuff. I think it's kind of impressive. But what do you think, Adagio?
Yeah, actually, Pink just asked, did it say specifically how many people in Exodus has cleared it, Gilly?
Yeah. I can pull that number right now if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
10 groups?
It's 210 players.
There you go, 210. So, as far as me, yeah, I think that sounds pretty accurate. And I mean, aside from that, you got to count anybody that's buying runs and stuff for the clears too. So, I mean, I'm sure that it's not exactly all statics, of course. Like I said, you just have to account for the people that are buying runs. So, who knows how many people that accounts for?
Yeah, and it's always really awesome to actually see people go out and do this work because, you know, at this point, you know, some people don't have a lot of things to do. So they're like, okay, let's go and just crunch as many numbers as I can. Honestly, with the benchmark, I'm sure a lot of people are going to dissect it, even though it says don't do it, and find all the information from that, and we'll have more information throughout the week. But, all right, you got any more information on that, Gilly, or you want to go on to the next one?
We can move on to the next. Well, actually, no, I'd like to point out, like,
Sure.
when they were showing off, like, the achievement mounts too as well, like ADS mounts and the Curing mounts, it kind of surprises me how much people are actually doing the other content, like clearing primals or even doing PvP. Like, 3,500 people only have that floating ball in Eorzea, so...
That's about 3,000 more than I thought would have it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get bored of... I've played 3 games, and I can't even bear to do more than that. Miz, do you PvP a lot?
I normally do. I do not in this game, which is kind of sad. Because...
It's hard, right? I mean,
yeah, well, I don't have the patience to wait in queue. I play a tank, so I am, like, spoiled.
I really understand you on that. I'm the same way.
It's so when you're you're forced to wait for like a 30-minute queue, even if you're like queuing in progress. I don't know. It's just the doorway for PvP is just not there, and because it's not easy, I don't know. I really want that mount too. Like, I would love to have that ADS mount, but I just can't bring myself to do it.
I'm with you. I mean, and actually everyone on this call are all tanks, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So this is
Nice.
really tons of tanks here. And I'm sorry for everyone else who plays DPS and wants deep insight into DPS or healing. You're going to get tank stuff, so. Anyways, all right, are you done with that, Gilly?
Yeah, I'm done with that topic.
Our newscaster's being interrupted. Give us 1 second. I can kind of take over for a little bit here, though. We are going on to... The only other bit of news here is really patch 2.56, which brought in a couple of things. Ponies and Echo for Final Coil. So, Miztech, have you been taking advantage at all of the Echo and Final Coil?
The Echo, actually, not so much. Like, we basically just go in once a week and farm. We're not trying to farm everything in, like, 1 week or when it was unlocked. We're trying to sort of stretch it out so that, you know, people still show up for raid and, like, people are still interested. And we raid a little bit each week. But the ponies, ugh, don't ask me about the ponies.
Have you farmed at all for the ponies?
Okay, so I have this, like, especially these past couple days have been like salt on the wound. So for whatever reason, I don't have like a pony static group, I suppose. I just sort of go in there in the duty finder and think that, you know, somehow I'll get lucky and I'll end up with a pony. So the first time I did this was actually on Friday, maybe? I honestly don't remember when. But the very first run that I did, a pony dropped, and I rolled like a 34 or something awful. The next runs that I did where a pony did drop happened to be probably like the worst possible runs ever. Like, everything went wrong. You were there for like 50 minutes. And so the last time this happened, I rolled a 9. So I'm not even like getting double digits anymore. So
It actually brings up a quick question that just kind of I thought of, when people are in groups with you and they fail horribly, do they take it extra hard?
Well, for example, like this last group that was pretty bad. I don't think really anyone spoke. It was probably the reason why we were wiping. I was trying to like say, hey, like please don't kill Spiny. Hey, Melee, you're dying to Wicked Wheels. Please stay out of those. And like I was trying to say all these things, and literally no one else was speaking. So I don't know what happened with that group. But most people are pretty okay. Like they're like, oh my gosh, it's Miztech, and then I'm like, oh, don't worry, I'm just a normal person. And then they're like, no, we have to perform super good. And I'm just like, no, not at all.
Haley, can you post a link to the Ty Event wants to know about the T13 clears where you can read that? Can you post a link over to him, please? Thank you.
I got it. I actually pulled it up just a second ago because I wanted to look at that. Or, yeah, that's the Japanese. That's the Japanese version of it. You can go to the Reddit version here and look at the numbers if you wanted to get the exact numbers on it. All right. So, oh, I should have activated Nightbot. That's okay. I trust you guys completely. You guys aren't going to ruin everything. All right. So, Miztech. Well, there's another question I thought, but I forgot about it. It'll come back to me later. And Adagio, Gilly, have you guys been taking advantage of Echo? Have you farmed up everything you need from T13?
We've pretty much got everything from T13. All we need now is our Scholar's Book. That's all we need. But we've killed it so many times already, and it's ridiculous to a point. I mean, Final Coil is a lot easier with the Echo, but it's also making it tough because we're so scripted in the fights to the point where DPS is pushing, and then we're, you know, pushing to phases that we're not used to. So
yeah. I think what's getting most people right now is getting that second dragon. They're like, oh, we got enough DPS to kill a second dragon. We want to feel cool and get it down. But, you know, some groups are just like right on the edge and they get the dragon as soon as it jumps up, and it's just a pain in the ass to deal with. Adagio, you're in the same group with him. I'm guessing you're doing the same thing.
It's just like there was a couple of times where I was like, stop DPS, because we're at like 52 right before he pushes, and we were about to get another spawn because you're just about to cast Rage. People were like, no, don't stop DPS, and right as they stopped DPS, the ad spawned, and if they didn't listen to me, which everyone should listen to me, they would have had that ad with the dragon. So, you know, thank you for listening to me. But yeah, it's just been pushing at weird phases. You just have to account for that and put it into your plan as far as downing it. So
yeah. Yep, I think that's really all. It took like a week for everyone to get used to it. Now they're all just having fun. I think we farmed everything we need for our mains. Now we're just going in there for fun. And Miztech, you said you only do it once a week. You guys are still grinding at Savage T9, right?
Grinding is one word to describe it. More like completely slamming our heads against the wall. Although last week I feel like the problem I think we face is that we only do it once a week for like 3 hours, maybe. And so every week we do like this much progress and that's it. And so for something like Turn 9 Savage, where you actually, you know, the more you do it, the easier it is to sort of handle everything. We're like in the last phase now, and we're learning how to do the elements and the timing for everything. That's a bit different, but it's just it's like
I got
it's like Turn 13 progression all over again, where you know like you can kill it. It's just
oh god, I mean, like we barely killed it. I'm going to be honest with you, we barely killed it before the nerf. I think 2 weeks before the nerf, we killed it, and it was one of the greatest feelings just knowing that we got it before that patch. But the issues we had were related to 1 or 2 players, like getting lag during the fight, and just we'd be halfway through the fight and like a heal wouldn't go off or something, and then we just completely wipe. And after like doing that for 2 hours, going in for 10 minutes and just wiping, 10 minutes wipe, you just don't care anymore. People don't want to show up the raid anymore. But all right, so let's hit this next one, and I'm gonna let you take this one, Gilly.
awesome. The benchmark.
All right.
What did everybody think of like the new cutscene that was out for it? Well, little trailer thing.
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, people kept saying there's lots of different abilities and limit breaks in there, but it was hard for me to differentiate like the limit breaks and the abilities almost. I mean, the Dragoon one I could tell. I guess the Black Mage one. But then the Paladin did that little shield thing, and I'm like, is that a move, or what is that supposed to be?
A lot of people were saying that big barrier in front of him is the new Hollowed Bastion.
Hollowed Ground thing?
Or Last Bastion. It's the limit break
The LB3
for
oh,
tanks.
okay, I got you.
tanks.
I mean, it looks pretty cool. But then again, it only goes against... all right, so we have a limit break for tanks, and it's supposed to protect everybody, right? But he only puts the shield around himself in that video.
Did it show multiple people?
No, it just showed him. I don't know.
So it might have gone in there when you don't know.
Maybe you're right. I'm just assuming he's greedy. Miztech.
That's...
Go ahead, Adagio.
I was about to say, that's the problem. You're assuming right there. Shouldn't assume, man.
What does assuming make me?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that. Respect it, though.
I'll say it. No shame.
All right. Miztech, what you think? Did you watch the video at all?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Still haven't watched it?
Well, no, that's the thing. So I watched I saw screen grabs from it, but I was waiting until the benchmark to actually look at it, which I still haven't done because I didn't have time after work today. So I'll probably do that before I go to bed.
Okay, that's fair.
I didn't do my homework. I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay. You don't have to do your homework on that. We'll just make fun of you for being
that's right.
Miztech and not being in the know about a benchmark. What'd you guys score, Gilly, Adagio? Adagio, did you do it?
I did. I had it all up on maximum at, let's see, what was it, 248 by something or other. I don't remember, 1152, and I got 6996, which is very high. It's not as much as I wanted, but it said it'd run it at about 55 to 70 or 55 to 57 frames.
Is that 1280 by 980 or something like that?
No, it's 2048 by 1152.
2048.
Yeah.
You must have a big monitor.
It's a 30. No, it's a 28-inch. Sorry.
Oh, okay. It's like playing the game on a TV almost.
I'm looking to upgrade to a 32-inch, so we'll see.
Jeez, just get a projector, man. Miz, do you play on a huge screen?
No, I have a 1080p monitor.
Okay.
It is only 24 inches.
That's exactly the same as my monitor. There's nothing more that you need from that. You just buy another monitor and you're okay.
You say that, but so Braddock right here has a 4K monitor at 27 inches, and it is glorious. It really is. I would want one, but I think because I'm as you can see, I can't really see well, but literally everything is so tiny on 4K, and he plays at 4K too, so I just don't think I could handle that. I would be completely blind. But it looks pretty, at least, right? And that's all you need sometimes.
Yeah.
It's on the details.
Gilly, what about you, man?
For 1280 by 720, I scored 13K, and then 1920 by 1080, I scored close to 8,000.
Okay. Yeah, I was doing. I did 1920 by 1200 at maximum DirectX 11, and I was scoring about 8,500. So, Miztech, you know where you should be at right now. If you get anything under 5,000, you probably need to upgrade.
I don't think I will, but we'll see. As soon as I run the thing, I'll tweet my score or whatever. We can compare
yeah, I figure with my score, I should be good for Heaven's Word, but I might need to upgrade before 4.0.
Just gotta get that webcam upgraded, man.
Well, I'm working on it. I know.
We'll get there one day. All right. And so, do we have anything else you want to throw at me about that, Mr. Gilly?
That should be about it.
All right, that's the news with Gilly Valentine, guys.
I can go home now.
You can go home now. Log off.
Bye, Gilly. See you later.
All right. Well,
anyways, Pinkishness did ask if she was the only person that saw a 3-person mount, which I didn't see. That's news to me. Did anyone else see that or can confirm that is actually in the game?
I did not see that at all. I think you're maybe seeing things. Unless if you bring a picture of that to the chat, I'm just going to assume you're seeing things.
Yeah, Pinkishness, if you can throw a link up to that, I would like to see that.
Yeah, unless if it's a bad link, and then we'll ban you. All right. So, the next point, of course, is the Nico live letter, which Miztech has yet to see. Right? Okay. That's all right. We'll discuss it, and we'll give you some points on it, and you can give us comments on it either way.
Sounds good.
All right. So, the first thing about that live letter, and I'm just going to go over kind of the primary points because there is a lot of nonsense within a live letter that's stuff we already know that I felt was kind of boring to go over, or it was stuff that wasn't really too important. For example, new classes are going to get primal weapons from Titan and everything. You kind of expect that almost. I wouldn't expect them to change that out at all. But the first point that I noticed, which was kind of interesting, is that they're going to have more than just 2 new abilities per class. And so they're not going to give them out every 5 levels. I don't know. They didn't give a real exact like amount of how many new abilities you're going to have, but apparently it's going to be enough that rotations are going to have to completely change because of the new abilities. And the current skill adjustments, of course, are going to have to change as well. Or, well, the current skills are going to have adjustments to them. So, for example, maybe Hollowed Ground isn't going to do prevent all damage anymore.
That would be
Take
really
you down to
weird.
1 health.
No. We're not
Home
Warriors.
game.
Warriors suck. No, we're not
It's
Warriors.
overpowered. You don't need it all doing what it's doing. All right, so with these changes, this is kind of what people were looking for, right? I mean, they weren't looking for just 2 new abilities and done with, but do you think this is going to be kind of overload? Like, are we going to be playing a new game? Or Miztech, you want to give me your opinion on it?
So I'm actually pretty impressed, or I guess relieved, I should say, that they are adding more than 2 abilities, because we were sort of speculating about this a couple weeks ago when the previous live letter, they were saying how you'll get your abilities from the quest. So I was like, oh my gosh, like in the past it was every 5 levels. So the fact that you get more than 2 abilities is great. I am okay with that. The rotation changes, I think I was sort of expecting.
Yeah.
I don't know how much this really affects DPS. I have a bard that I play randomly, so I'm not sure. It would be kind of weird to sort of have like massive changes, but slight changes where like maybe, for example, Paladin might have like an actual DPS combo would be really cool, but it's like a really subtle change. It really isn't that much of a difference. But to actually change, like the thing you said about Hollowed Ground made my like insides just what?
Yes, don't even pose that out there.
I hope it's nothing like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just going to say I hope it is, because I'm tired of
Really?
Paladins being overpowered. I'm tired of it. It's just crazy. I mean, home game
Okay,
in comparison to Hollowed Ground, you know.
We
what do
are
you
now
look at?
revolting.
How do I
We're
disconnect
kicking
from here?
Frost out of the show.
Okay, I'll get off of it. But yeah. What abilities do you want to actually see change that you think really need the change? I know they're going to add a new combo for Paladins. They mentioned that in the last live letter. So what abilities? That was needed. I was tired of playing Paladin and doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I play Paladin for my static right now. Forcefully, I do it. And I fall asleep almost doing it. You know, you got a few things. You're like, oh, this is off cooldown. Oh, this is up. It gives me ability to use it. Then that's all you do. Can Miztech, is it more advanced than that, or am I oversimplifying it?
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure every class can sort of be oversimplified like that. Paladin definitely is lacking in some buttons. Like when your main rotation is 1, 2, 3 with like a couple extra buttons, you know, thrown in whenever you can. It's okay, but honestly, I kind of like it like that because, you know, as a tank, you're sort of trying to do a couple other things at the same time. But I am actually very excited about having like a second or a second combo rotation or something, because I used to play warrior, so I'm very used to having like at least 3 branches of buttons to press. So having 2 as a paladin, I think will be really good. What I really want is like Hollowed Ground every like minute.
Oh, really? No, they
Now
need to
that might
extend
be a
it to
bit
be like 12
overpowered.
minutes or something. I don't know. They just need to. Anyways, so adding in these new abilities to it, it's going to make it a lot more exciting, I think, for a lot of different classes. And it's all we can do is really guess, I guess, at this point. We can't really throw out anything solid. But Adagio, if they had to change one ability that's just irritating you, what's that ability they would change?
Shit. Let's see. They really need to do something with Riot Blade. There's really, literally, almost no reason for it. I actually was listening to a podcast earlier, like maybe they should combo something off of Riot Blade. That would be awesome.
I think
They need to do that.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's how. I don't know if it's
Maybe I had a
specified yet
dream,
or not.
but that's what I
You had a
want
dream?
to.
Yeah, they need to do something with Riot Blade. Honestly, that's just one skill. I mean, aside from doing speedruns and flash spamming, there's no use for it.
Adagio, your camera completely just like froze on an image, by the way. It's a really there it goes, back. It's back. Okay. But yeah, no. I mean, I think comboing off of Riot Blade, all right, so is actually a good idea because I have no reason to use it. I can't think of a really good reason to use it because, I mean, what else do you really use mana for besides Stone Skin and Flash, right?
I mean, you do.
If we're ignorant about anything we're talking about, Miztech, feel free to correct us on it.
I actually play a Piety Paladin for all the flash spams.
Really?
No!
I was going to say that would be amazing.
I was a little concerned for a second there.
Yeah. I was like, you're doing
Okay,
something
guys.
way top tier that I don't know anything about. Gilly, let's do something besides a tank. Can you think of something besides a tank?
Benediction.
Benediction?
Please,
Well, you-
let that animation cast so much faster. I don't know
Yes.
how many times I've died because my white mage like fail fished and just decided to cast benediction when I was at like 1 HP. And then, my home gang falls off. I'm like, oh, rip.
yeah.
Yeah, it's awful.
Just, and saying rip, my entire static says that all the time, and it's throwing me, it's driving me crazy.
I say it too.
Really? Just like, we're like expecting someone to die, and he's like, rip, rip, and I'm like, shut up, we're not dead yet.
The best part is on turn 10 where the spell is actually called Critical
Critical
Rip.
Rip. Yeah.
We would call out Rip, and then like our white mage tech would always think, oh my gosh, like who's about to die? Like what's going on? But it was in fact just the calling of the spell.
Exact same thing in my group. I guess bad humor goes everywhere. Just kidding.
Yeah, is it bad humor, honestly?
It's not bad humor. It's good humor. I'm sorry. Anyways, so rip spam's gonna happen in the chat soon. So going off of that, another thing that's kind of interesting is they're nerfing, the Zodiac weapon quest just for glamour, and then they're not going to do any for the new classes, which I think they mentioned already. But it's not really that exciting to hear. It's just when they say nerfing it for glamour, what does that exactly mean? Are new classes not going to require starting any of those new quests, or dissect that for me, somebody, because I can't make sense of it.
Well, are they gonna? That's the whole question. Is are they gonna make a new Zodiac weapon quest, or are they just killing it? I mean, I hope they're not killing it. I'd be kind of pissed off if I did all this work and that's just gonna be a glamour piece from now on. I mean, if they're gonna kill it, they need to add a new tier to it or something. I don't know. I don't know. They just can't kill it. I'd be really mad. I put in all that work, and I'm sure I'm not the only person. They would be really mad if they did that.
I think they're going to start the new. They did say something about starting a new quest line for it in 3.1. So it's going to exist. I know that much, but I don't know what they mean by just for glamour. Like, are we going to be able to go back and get the old weapons for glamour or something?
I think it might also have something to do with, they did mention, because a lot of people want the ability to glamour certain steps of the Zodiac Crest to their weapons so that they can have a specific glow or whatever. So I think it might even have something to do with that, where they will allow you to easily gain or get those particular whatever part of the quest that you want to use as a glamour for your main weapon. And I think they also said something along the lines of, I can't find a source for this, so maybe I shouldn't say it, but they did say the reason that they're not doing like the old Zodiac for the new classes is just because it kind of, I guess, puts people at a disadvantage for starting those classes and having to like work through the entire Zodiac quest chain to like catch up. Basically, it was probably a little bit ridiculous. So I think what they're doing, they're probably just going to like branch out, maybe bring a new one in to have for everyone new in 3.0. But I feel like they should do something to continue the old Relic quest for those that actually did put in the time. But I don't know. It's a tough call just because of the idea that it's a new expansion and anyone new coming in will have to work extra hard just to catch up. But,
yeah. I mean, I'm kind of with you. That sounds like a great idea. I don't know how else they could really do that, except for just branching it off and letting people kind of pick up on those old weapons. Maybe they'll just mail everybody a glamour piece from the weapon class that have already achieved that certain point. I remember hearing something like the people who have completed it will be at an advantage for the next.
Yes, I've heard that too.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was really. This is kind of what I hated about this whole thing, is that it all had to be translated. It was not very English friendly. They didn't really do any. I didn't even post anything in the forums about it. They didn't give us any kind of coverage there. I mean, in Lodestone, like they didn't do an official post where they translated things. So that kind of threw me off too. But so we're kind of making guesses on some of these things here. The other big change here was, there's going to be big changes to Black Mage and Summoner actions. I play a Summoner, and I like playing a Summoner because I love like putting dots on things and just going around and just like whack-a-mole with dots. Not a lot of people like doing that, but I know they're going to make a change where skill speed's going to matter, definitely, and spell speed, I guess, for these guys. And they're also going to make a change to where the dots tick properly. It's not going to be like with server time. It's actually going to make a little bit more sense. But since we kind of skipped you over a second ago, Gilly, do you have any thoughts on what the Black Mage and Summoner big changes would be?
I was thinking more or less like animation changes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because in the benchmark, if you look closely, the Black Mage actually casts Flare, and then there's this like spell writing on the floor, and then you see him still cast Flare. And I think also with the Summoner, you see Ifrit do like a move, and he just like kind of disappears, but explodes on the boss as well, the dragon.
Like the pet disappears and then just
Yeah, and then he just comes back, like I don't know what's the word for it,
Recalls.
like reassembles. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that sounds kind of... Well, I mean, it would suck if it was just graphical. I hope they actually have some big, like, systematic and mechanic changes to them. Miztech, what kind of input do you have on that? Do you play Summoner or Black Mage at all in any kind of... No.
I have a Summoner at level 50, but no. I'm not too big on the DPS. But I think this might actually go hand in hand with the previous thing that we were talking about, where the new abilities might change rotations and stuff. So maybe they're just doing something crazy to Summoners and Black Mages, and we're going to end up with like an actual different playstyle for them. I'm sure they'll still keep like Summoners being like dot damage and like, you know, and Black Maging being more like direct DPS. But I don't know. It would be, maybe they do both. Like they'll do an animation change. They'll do also like a rotation change. It's really hard to say now because we have absolutely no idea.
Yeah. I feel like there's so much more information out there we just haven't gathered yet because it wasn't properly translated.
Yeah.
But Adagio, do you have any input on it?
Well, you know how my Black Mage rolls.
Yeah.
Got all Dreadworm gear, and I can't use it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I play Black Mage every now and then. I like how it goes, and I mean, yeah, I'd be interested to see what they're planning on doing with Black Mage. I mean, my Summoner's leveling right now, so I can't really say anything about that. But you know, it's always good to change up stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know, I guess they just kind of wanted to emphasize that those two classes are going to be kind of reworked. And I'm, I guess, excited for it. I'm going through the process of leveling up all of my classes up to 50 so I can be, because I still haven't done that yet. So I feel a little bit behind. I feel like I need to get up there. So if I find a new class that, like, Machinist just completely sucks for some reason, I just want to throw it out the window. I have other options out there. So this is actually a bit of news that they've said before, but I feel like we should put a little bit of conversation on it because it's pretty good, and I just want to have your input on it, Miz. They said, of course, practice modes are going to be in the works at certain phases. So, like, for example, you could do T13 Phase 4 instead of going through the entire fight multiple different times. And so, with that being said, do you like that idea? Do you think that's actually going to work out, or is it going to be kind of awkward just with all the cooldowns?
I both like it and also dislike it very much.
Okay.
I know that's like the cop-out answer, but honestly, I feel like it would help in certain things because a lot of the times, I don't know. Because, okay, as I say this, my brain's thinking of all these fight examples that I'm bringing up, and a lot of the times the last phase is usually the easiest, at least in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just what I've noticed or how we go through it at least. But I think a practice mode, in theory, is a great idea, I guess, just because it's always cool to see like those later phases that you don't really, I guess, see until you've gone through like 12 minutes of the first couple of phases. But at the same time, it sort of worries me a bit because it's sort of, I don't know, I feel like the learning process that you go through each phase up to the very last phase and the whole like bulk of that all together is what makes learning the fight, I don't know, I feel like it's important to just go from the start in the beginning, and it sort of teaches you that you cannot screw up in those first few phases if you want to see the last phase, right? Yeah. So I kind of like it as an idea in theory, but at the same time, I think a huge part of me would rather prefer that people just learn it the good old-fashioned way, and I don't know, until we actually see how they actually, you know, implement it, it's really hard to say, but I'm kind of leaning towards I don't really like it, but I still kind of like it. Like I'm sure we'll use it. I don't know if it will in the long run if it'll like hinder us.
Yeah. So you're just completely, really on the fence right now.
Very on the fence, definitely.
Gilly, what do you think, man?
I just want to find out, like, what are the prerequisites for it? Like, do we get to, the moment we get into the turn, do we get to jump into, like, the final phase? Or, you know, do we start mid? Or do we have to actually go through the whole turn, hit a certain checkpoint, and then start from there the next time we go in?
Okay.
I mean, it seems like a really good idea for so people aren't really killing themselves over, you know, trying to get to, like, let's say mid phase or last phase all the time. And, you know, they only make, like, maybe 2 or 3% progression, but it's, I don't know, that's what I like Miz said, I want to see it too as well. Like, I want to see how they implement it and how they do it is really what's going to persuade if I like it or not.
Yeah. Adagio, did you pick up anything from chat? Any questions about that? I feel like I see one from Callie there.
I haven't had much chat. No, he was basically saying what he thinks about Black Mage changing. He said they should be able to cast while moving. I was like, no, that's going to be overpowered. Anyways, as far as the practice thing, I come in here thought I was going to actually be disagreeing with people when I said that I don't like the idea of the practice. I think that it's going to pander a little too much for casuals. I'm not saying that I'm hardcore elitist, but I mean, it's in any other Final Fantasy, you come to a boss and you beat it. Say like Final Fantasy IX is a perfect example. You come to the end boss, you fight Kuja, you beat him, and you instantly move into Necron, and those are both really hard back-to-back boss battles. You don't have a whole practice mode where, oh, let me fight Kuja and let me practice Kuja and let me practice Necron after that. No, you die, you reset, you start over again. I mean, that's just how it is.
Unless if you
the
have an
games
emulator,
are
right?
starting to get a little too easy like that. I understand that they're casuals. This is pivoted more toward casuals, but I mean, if you start pandering way too much to casuals, you're going to lose your hardcore base.
You turn into WoW, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That is
and
kind of what I was
anyways,
saying too. Like,
also, I think that the whole practice thing, when you do it, it's going to lessen the actual effect that you feel when you do finally down the turn. I mean, all of us have gone down T13 without this practice phase, and you get that rush of adrenaline, that your blood's just flowing. You get that whole ecstasy feeling when you down it. And I mean, the feeling if you did practice, oh, we already done this, and, oh, look, yeah, we did it, whatever. I mean, that's just cutting out that whole feeling.
I think the difficulty of all of these fights lies in just how long they are and how many mechanics you have to go through, how many phases you have to go through before you actually kill it, right? Mm-hmm. And to be able to just jump into whatever phase you're having trouble, it's, again, like, it is very much, like, helping the more casual player, I guess. And it's not a bad thing per se, but again, in the future, are people going to start expecting that for everything? Like, where's the actual challenge to endgame rating? Like, will it be fun when everything is just handed to you on a silver platter? Like, I think the challenge and the difficulty is what makes each of these fights so good. So when they take that away from us, I'm just worried that it would sort of have a negative effect on the overall game. That's what worries me.
So let's say they only implement it for normal modes and not hard modes. Would that be something that would be a good alternative?
Yeah, I think.
Because then normal modes are going to be for people who can't, well, I mean, I think you have to go through normal to get the hard modes or something like that. But people who stay on normal modes, that gives them, it caters to casual players a little bit more. People who only put a few hours in and they were like, oh, well, it'd be nice to kind of clear the content, but, I don't want to do more than just finish the story. I mean, I'm actually on board with this because one of the reasons I hated the previous mentioned MMO was because it got into 4 different modes of difficulty, and if you wanted to, you could AFK your way through the final content and literally do nothing. You could be dead on the ground, and you will beat the final boss. And I felt like that was overly frustrating for me. I didn't feel an achievement anymore after I beat the last boss.
Well, Dins did put something in chat that I had as a point I didn't get to, is that the mechanics very rarely end up being so smooth as you're probably going to get in this practice. You phase transition at very awkward times, mechanics end up being different, and then you've done all this practice and you got it this way, but then it ended up being this way, so what's the point of even having gone in that practice?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's more of just to see it, to be honest, and that way when they get into it, they understand how the mechanic works. But I'm kind of with you guys. Don't make the game boring. So, all
I think
right.
when they add such game-changing things like this, whenever they give the option to either use it or you don't have to use it, that's probably maybe a bit better in the long end or in the.
But
Wow,
you say that. How many people turn off echo when they go into a fight because they want it
that's
to be
true.
harder?
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It just seems like if you make it easier, people, of course, they want to do it harder. People go out there and they 7-man content. They don't have to, but they want to do it because they can either make sales off of it or they can go in and actually just, hey, I 7-man this fight. I don't need 8 people. I feel strong. I feel cool. All right? And then people go in and they 8-man warrior things because it's just something to do. But most cases, no one's going to turn it off. They're just like, whatever, I've done this content, I beat the game, unsubscribe, and wait until the new content comes out. That may or may not happen, but that's just my pessimistic way of looking at it.
That's a little extreme.
I don't know, man. People who are really hardcore into the game and they beat it like in a month, like if they beat Heavensward in a month and they're just like, I'm done with this, or a month and a half, you know, why spend 2 months of subscription when you're not going to play anyways? But then again, you know. And just real quick, I saw this roll in chat. What difficulties do you have in Final Fantasy IX, Miztech?
So, I'm going to say something, and you guys are probably going to like disconnect me from the podcast and be like, whoa, why did we invite her? Final Fantasy XIV is actually the only Final Fantasy I've played. So that's my difficulty. The fact that I
actually
have no idea
did watch your 10K answers video, so I did know that.
That's
you
really
knew
depressing.
you were braced for impact? Yes. That's
Yeah.
So what would it take you to play another Final Fantasy game?
Not much. So I've had people like suggest which ones to start with, and it just basically starts a war on which to start with. But I have a couple of them. Like I have a couple on Steam. I have something or other for the play. I don't even know what we have, but I'm basically just going to see what people suggest I try first and go from there. But yeah, I don't know. Like I was just not a console player growing up, so I never really tried
When
them.
did you first get into video games if you were not a console player?
I was a computer, like I'm OG PC Master Race. My parents were both programmers, so we had computers instead of consoles.
You played
And-
Scorched Earth?
No.
Oh, okay. That's
I played
kinda
things like Myst and like educational games.
Oh, okay, like Math Blaster?
Yes.
Yeah.
Geometry, or what was it called? Word Rescue. That's what I played.
Well, if I had to recommend any games to you, it would be almost none of them, because going back and playing these Final Fantasy games to today's mindset of gamers is horrible, because you have all the random encounters, and people just can't get used to that unless if there's a nostalgia effect to it. And so you're running from point A to point E, and you're just fight, and it gets boring, and it will throw you...
Exhausting.
Yeah, you'd be tired of the game pretty quickly. I would say start with 15 when it comes out, just
Okay,
because it's going to be
we
a new
have that
setup.
pre-ordered, so maybe.
Yeah. Or Type 0, I don't know. Apparently if it's really blurry. I haven't played it yet, though. So, let's get back on track here for a second. The other note I had in here was that, you know, the floating continent, which is known in other Final Fantasies, which you might have known, Miztech, if you've played those other Final Fantasies, but it's actually an area. It's not a raid, and I think some people thought it was going to be a raid, because they did the same thing with World of Darkness, and it was kind of, you know, tiers and everything. Are we disappointed to hear that it's an area and not a raid, or do we not really care? And Gilly, what do you think, man?
It's just another place for me to hide. To be honest.
Are you
And
the
I don't-
type of people who just like fly your mount all the way to the top of the screen and just kind of AFK?
I actually I got so bored of the game recently, so I just started trying to find ways to glitch out of the map and just try to hide and stuff.
Okay.
And then I started playing this game with Jen, saying like, if you can find me, I'll give you 500k. Just don't look at my map.
The wedding ring, man.
Oh, that's right.
Eternal
Don't get
ban.
ideas.
Yeah. Adagio?
I'm fine with it being an area as long as they still do introduce a 24-man raid. I'm hoping that they're not substituting it out. You know.
Well, yeah, they're going to...
And also, I did want to ask, what's so special about this place that they're like, oh, the floating continent is here, but it's just an area. I mean, what's going to be going on there?
It's just iconic. There's lots of different monsters and stuff.
Are they gonna have like a lot of free company content or like really hard mobs there? Or I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they would introduce there. I'm hoping it's going to be one of the last tiers, like gosh, I keep confusing my level tiers with different games. From 58 to 60 is probably going to be in that tier of range because it's something people will look forward to. If they throw that at you at first, and then you have all these things that people don't really have any nostalgia attached to it, they're not going to be as excited to level up. That's just my assumption. Again, you know what that makes me. So, Miztech, I guess I would ask you that question, but I feel like you don't have too much.
I won't know anything. Yeah. Well, to be honest, I never actually heard anyone talking about it as if it would be a raid, so I am neither disappointed nor, at all surprised. I personally, I thought it was just going to be like a zone, and I thought because they were implementing flying, the fact that this continent happened to also be floating in the air, it just sort of made sense. So, to me, it's just another part of the map.
And that puts a thought into my head with, having some of these places have, floating islands and stuff, and then other places are going to be on the ground. Are you going to fly from one zone and go up to another zone, or is it just going to be you go straight across and all of a sudden you're in the air and in that zone?
I kind of hope it'll be up.
Because that seems kind of, I guess they could make it work if they put like just a floating area like in a zone already, and then it has a little zoning line or whatever, dotted line, and then you can go in from that floating island. But
I don't know. I guess until we see it, we can't really guess how they'll do it.
I mean, it's going to be kind of. I'm actually now excited to see how they do it because it seems like it's going to be really weird to put in there and implement it the way they do zones and everything. Because other MMOs, they don't have the zoning, or some other MMOs, which I won't mention the name again because I just don't want to promote them. But they don't have zoning to these other areas. You just kind of fly everywhere and you go wherever you want. But with the zoning part in the game, it's going to feel really restrictive when you're flying around. But I don't know. All right, so just thought. Something I'm very excited they're doing, but they're not going to do it until the expansions launch. At like 3.1 they might do it. Is they're going to add TP meters to the party list.
It's so ridiculous.
How hard is it to program something like that? I mean...
You know what would fix all of this? Just add-ons.
Yeah, no.
We can do whatever we wanted.
It's true. But then again, I will actually kind of retort that a little bit because I feel that's another downfall of WoW is add-ons, because it made the game super easy when you had an add-on and it would tell you exactly what to do within 3 seconds of having to do it. Oh, you have the next attack coming up, move to the left, or say, they have a little meter on there so you know if you're in the range of another player that will do damage to you if you're a certain range from them. So it made the game kind of easy. And I was playing that recently, and I get upset because I'll use I didn't use Deadly Boss Mobs, and then people were mad at me for not using that add-on. They're like, "Why aren't you using it, guy?" I'm like, "Because I don't want to. I want to have a challenge. I'm hardcore. I play Final Fantasy 14. I don't have add-ons."
One reason I really do hope they do not put add-ons, because it's going to come to the point of where, oh, you don't have that, you can't raid with us kind of thing. I don't want that to happen. Just the TP meter. That's honestly, the TP meter should have been in from the start of the game. I mean, you shouldn't be as a tank. Oh, I need TP from you, Bard. Hey, Bard. And the Bard should see the meter and be like, oh, he's low on TP. Maybe I should play the freaking song.
Or ninjas for goading. Hey, this guy's low. Let me click on him real quick, and it just eliminates all this needless communication.
Maybe they just want us to communicate so that we actually socially interact with people that we're raiding with.
No, I mean, you can overact over like TS if you're with your own group kind of thing, but you already pretty much have your whole thing set. You know the Bard knows when he's going to be playing TP song, but when you're like a random pug group, and you're not going to be like, oh, there's no voice chat there, so...
Then you lose because you're not good enough at communication. So, there you go. It's a skill. We got to all learn it. But, TP meters, it seems like it's something that people shouldn't have to download ACT for. I don't know. Gilly, you have any thoughts on it?
Give me more TP song. No, I'm actually really stoked that they're putting this thing in, because I don't know how many times playing a warrior, like after switching from paladin to warrior, I've found it that I've ran out a lot more TP on warrior. And then having to go DPS, and then just seeing like, oh man, I'm not managing my TP, properly compared to other people. So having to yell at our bard or our ninja for goad is really. I feel like a dick when I do it.
Goad me.
Goad me, please.
Nothing but a goad digger.
Or just asking for TP song because when when the healers really need MP song, yeah. I don't know. I just play a lot of factors. A lot of things play through my mind when I'm demanding stuff like, "Give me my TP," because I'm an asshole. I don't know how to manage anything.
Oh, look, we got Happy in here now. Whole chat's gonna die. All right, so let's. The other point I was going to bring up too is Eternal Bond is now going to work with sharing houses.
Nice.
Yeah, and
I've been waiting for that.
We're all excited for that, right?
I honestly don't know why it wasn't in effect when they did the Eternal Bond system. Gilly bought a house and expecting when he married Jen that they'd be able to move in, and I was shocked when he was like, "Yeah, she can't move in with him." I'm like, "What?" It's like,
Yeah.
why is that a thing?
Yeah.
Because of that, all my plants kept dying.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I have a guild house that I bought when the game first started, and I haven't logged on, or I said guild house, sorry, free company house. I have a free company house that I bought when we first started, and I got like the plants and everything, and it's in some zone somewhere, and I haven't logged on that character that has that FC in 6 months. So I'm one of those guys that has a dead house somewhere. So I don't really care about it at all.
We're judging you right now.
Go ahead. I deserve it. But my girlfriend, of course, has a house, and she goes time. And I'm like, I don't want to buy another house. I just want to go to her house, and then we can share it and do all the she can take care of it, and I can just say, hey, yeah, I got a house. I can go to it whenever I want. She just screamed at me.
I heard that. That was perfect timing.
What? She's yelling at me from the kitchen. But yeah, are you guys? I'm guessing everyone's going to agree that we're excited about this change. There's nothing negative about it, right?
Definitely. I've been hoarding like every single event, like furniture piece for the past like 6 months, just waiting for the announcement. So we're going to have a house with like 15 snowmen, like 16 cherry trees. I'm telling you, I'm ready for this.
Nice. All right. Well,
Watching Chico Dash earlier, they say, well, when someone gets divorced, they're going to add the new lawyer job in the game. That's the new job.
I'm excited for that one too. All right. So the Battle Chocobo rank is going to be lifted, and so how many of you guys have a level 20 Battle Chocobo? Anybody?
4 Battle Chocobo.
Do you feel like that ceiling is being lifted for you? That you've been hitting for so long?
Completely, yeah. I feel so liberated to level my Chocobo now.
Okay, so the only use I can find out of that function is, I mean, when you're leveling up and you're like, oh, well, it'll be easier if I have my Chocobo out. But then you're like, it's still in my XP. I don't want it to take my XP. Why do I even care about this? So do we care? Let's go over this again. Do we care that they leveled or raised the cap? Don't they need to actually fix or make people want to actually use the Chocobo before
Honestly,
they raise the cap?
if they would let us bring the Chocobos in the dungeons, I would so use my Chocobo. It would just be me and my Chocobo running low-level dungeons, and that would level the Chocobo. That'd be perfectly fine.
Okay.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Gilly?
To me, it's just another thing to ride on. Like I leave my Choco in the free company stalls for the longest time, and I totally forget I even have one. I'm just like, oh, that's a thing?
Oh, yeah. I did get really intense about trying to level it up before Gold Saucer came out because I thought it might affect my racing Chocobo. But once they announced that it's not going to be the same one, I'm like, all right, done with it. Back to the stables, wherever you are. I don't even know where you are anymore.
If they would have integrated that to Choco racing, then maybe I would have gone more, deep into raising my Chocos. Like, if you went into battle a lot, you got to level 20, you got bonus stats to your racing Choco if you breed it together. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I'd be down with it. I'd be really upset because I'd be forced to grind and level up my battle Chocobo. Have to do lots of spirit bonding, I guess, at the same time to make money. Well, another thing about Chocobos that's going to be kind of exciting, I got 2 notes about it. One is that they'll have dual mount Chocobos that will fly, so you can pick someone up and carry them around with you in Heaven's War. So
the important question is, can you drop them from
I
great
hope
heights
so.
to their deaths?
Like you have the eject button on the side? Yeah.
I mean, you could just dismount, and I mean, you'd both die, but hey, at least you can laugh at their misfortune.
That's a great question. Can you dismount in the air?
You couldn't.
Maybe,
Wow.
I
I
don't
mean, I
know.
don't see why you couldn't.
Yeah. But I mean, you'd kill lots of
I
people.
mean,
for fun.
yeah, it's not wow, but you know.
They probably will like forget to think about it until this happens so many times that people will complain, and then they'll implement a system
Okay.
to.
They're like, well, just don't get on the chocobo with them. You should have known what you were doing before you got in the car.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Or they'll have like chocobo seatbelts or something.
or a parachute. They'll
Like-
give you a parachute, most likely.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll just
Oh,
kind of
that
float
makes
down.
sense, yeah.
So the other part about chocobos is that I don't know if this is true. Again, this is just me trusting a Reddit post on translation. But they said there's going to be flying fat chocobo.
You are
I would
so
love to see that.
obsessed about the flying fat chocobo.
It would be amazing. And, you know, the Kiara, my girlfriend here, she says that it should have rockets on it to lift it up and fly it around. So it would make
That
sense.
would be amazing.
How would
How
that
much
thing
is
fly?
chocobo rocket fuel cost?
Oh,
I kind
gosh.
of want to know what, like, is it another bunch of gashel greens, or is it like a treat so amazing that the chocobo just decides to fly?
Yeah, with
against-
its little tiny wings. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, and that brings up a good point, Adagio. If they wanted to, they could sell rocket fuel on Mog Station for $5 for 5 hours worth of rocket fuel.
Don't give them ideas. Just.
They'd make lots of money. Everyone would buy it.
It's confirmed. It's happening now.
Yeah, it's done. We have Yoshi watching the podcast. Okay. The other change they're coming up with, of course, is Wolf's Den changes in 3 point whatever. It's not going to be when it first comes out, but they're going to make some changes to hopefully make it better, which, again, I'm kind of pessimistic about it because what could they do to fix it besides fixing the servers? I mean, that's really the biggest downfall, right? You have the latency involved with it, and if you can't accurately predict when your spell's going to go off, then you're not going to have a competitive PvP.
I don't know, but I really do hope that they find some way to fix it, because even though people are like, oh, yeah, Final Fantasy is more PvE, I understand, and it's been that way for always. There are a lot of people that honestly want to PvP. They want to have fun with it, and they want to have balanced PvP. So, I mean, I just hope they find some way to fix it. I don't know how they can fix it, but I hope that they figure it out.
Yeah, I have to agree with Mr. Rager. Slaughter definitely has to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a kill like, I had more fun when I was capturing nodes and, you know, actually strategizing how we were going to kill the oncoming group, or, you know, where we were going to go attack next, stuff like that. Slaughter, it's like you just jump in the circle and then, you know, pray to God somebody doesn't sleep you and then blow you up with their limit break. Not to mention you have to worry about, you know, 50 other black mages targeting your group.
Yeah. Black mages, they're always going to get so much hate because of that. Gosh, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we'll see. Hopefully they make enough changes in there that we can go, it goes into the next subject, which I wanted to talk to you guys about this because I'm so confused by it. And maybe I'm just out of the know. But there's something about Game Club Esports Tokyo MX or whatever, and Final Fantasy XIV is going to have coverage in it starting May 2nd. Final Fantasy XIV doesn't have any foothold in esports, do they?
Triple triad, dude.
How? Still no, I can't see that. I mean,
Chocobo racing.
Even that, it's like, how do you make that actually competitive with all the issues they have with it? Because Chocobo Racing still has that kind of, I guess it can kind of work, but it still has that latency factor with the servers. The other one is PvP, of course not. Then Triple Triad would be amazing, but give me my tournament fixed first, right? I want to play a tournament.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely need to fix their stuff on the game before they start doing going to esports with the Triple Triad, if that's the way they're going.
Yeah, but I'm hoping somebody, maybe someone in the chat knows and can kind of educate me a little bit on...
Well, Typhoon Wolfbiter said Hearthstone is massive, and I believe that's actually
No, and
true,
that's
so.
fine. Hearthstone
Have
is
you guys
huge.
seen that video, the Ultimate Fighter Final Fantasy video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
we're
it's
actually
that.
That
Maybe
would
that
be
was
funny.
like a teaser video.
Or
Yeah.
it could be that new fighting game they're bringing to the arcades in Japan.
Dissidia?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I hope it's something, because Final Fantasy needs a competitive outlet. I feel like my competitive outlet is completely dry every time I play this game, and I have to go play another game to get that out, like StarCraft 2 or something. And I lose horribly at it, but at least I have some sort of competition. Here, again, it goes into PvE and who can kill things the fastest, which they still don't have a good outlet for that because they should have a ladder system, right? I've killed this the fastest. It goes up on the website. Now these guys kill it the fastest. But then I guess they got to deal with abuse and everything else. So, I mean, we'll see. And I wanted to actually talk about the fighting game that you brought up, Miz. It was a joke, right? So they made this joke game, and they spent a lot of time on it.
It was such a cool video.
But my tournaments aren't fixed yet. My triple tournaments aren't fixed yet.
I honestly do not think that they spent as much time as you think on it, dude.
How much time?
Like, seriously, maybe an afternoon or maybe 2 afternoons.
Maybe it was like their interns or something.
Yeah, maybe it was some like dude who was like trying to apply for a job and he made that. And they were, hey, this is pretty cool. Can we use this? You don't know, man. You don't know.
I hope so because I'm still frustrated about it. It was awesome. I'm not, denying that. It was really entertaining to watch, and I hope that they do more things that are kind of like that. But I hope they fix tournaments too. But I won't get into that subject because I've spent half my life on streaming so far arguing about it. The next live letter is going to be in mid-May, so you guys should be kind of excited for that. We'll probably spend the entire time talking about that when it comes out, and maybe they'll confirm some of our questions we've developed while going over what we thought might be facts. So, and I apologize for everyone. It does seem like the frame drop thing has come into play here, but hopefully the audio is still good for this next part. Which is going to be our wonderful Q&A with Miztech. Are you excited for it?
Should I go get some duct tape?
You go get duct tape?
Yeah, for sure.
Duct tape.
Yeah.
Also, chat, if y'all have any questions that y'all want from Miztech or any of us, honestly, go ahead and put it in chat. I'll copy them over and ask them at the end of the Q&A question segment. So please throw your questions out.
Yep. Let us know, and we'll be collecting that through the entire Q&A, and then we'll see if, depending on how appropriate the questions are, we'll ask them. And then, what's your level of appropriateness, Miztech?
I don't get offended, so.
Collect them all, guys.
Well, yes, we'll play it by ear.
We'll play it by ear. Okay. So Gilly and Adagio are both going to be collecting those during this, just to make sure that we can try to catch all the ones that we can. And if you guys ask 1,000,001 questions, we'll answer about 1,000,000,000. We'll leave that one on the end off. So, let's jump into this. The first thing I want to throw up is your banner here, because I loved your banner so much, from your Twitch channel.
Oh, yeah? That's awesome.
I thought it was actually pretty funny. It defines you, right? This is you.
Yeah, you could say that.
What artist did you get to do this?
She's sort of like a small local artist.
Oh, yeah?
I'm not sure if you ever heard of her. Her name is MTQ Capture.
Oh, wow. Very impressive.
She uses various mediums, mostly paint.
Yeah, MS Paint.
Alcohol.
That's actually my go-to, to be honest with you. Every single layout I've had was in MS Paint until this new one, which Gilly has made for me, so he felt bad for me.
So basically what you're seeing on, I think, okay, so the white part, basically when I started streaming, I started with Alien Isolation. And that's sort of where like the bread stuff came from. And you can sort of see like there's sort of like an alien there in the middle. An alien kind of. I don't know if the art depicts that. And so that, most of that white part, well actually just the one of me sitting and eating bread, was made by someone else. And then everything else is sort of paint masterpieces that we've sort of made when I first started streaming. We had like, when we were waiting on people to sign in for our Final Fantasy raids, I would pull up Paint and we would play like Pictionary, and so that's what you see on the right side, and it's just it's so silly.
It's very impressive.
Yes,
you really need to have like a day where you just teach art. So another, just on that, I still haven't played Alien Isolation yet. I got the Oculus Rift, and you can interface those two, and I'm waiting to do that.
You might need a diaper, but yes,
yeah.
I recommend it. It is honestly, so I'm a big fan of like the Alien franchise, and playing that game literally was like, it was amazing. When you're talking about nostalgia with like all the previous Final Fantasies and like Heavensward and all like the references that they make, you will get that from this game, and it is beautiful. It is such a good game. It's like one of my top games ever played. I was so impressed with it.
I bought the Blu-ray set for Alien.
I think you'll enjoy this game then.
All right.
But with
Well,
the Oculus Rift, I don't know. Like, it was pretty scary without, like, just on my computer. But I'm kind of a wuss. But if you have the Oculus, just invest
I mean,
in
it picks
something.
up your mic, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll see. One day, and my dog. What will happen is I'm sitting there hiding under a table, and my dogs will bark or something, and then they'll just rip me apart. All right.
It was very well made. I was very impressed with it.
All right. Well, then that's the future stream, guys. You'll see it. Oculus Rift Alien Isolation. All right. So the first question I have for you, I kind of want to just start. I got 3 sections here, and the first one's just going to be kind of about you. And so I wanted to know kind of when you aren't playing Final Fantasy XIV, you know, making guides or streaming, what do you do? What's your normal day-to-day life like?
Let's see. So I'll wake up 5 minutes before I'm supposed to go to work and go to work. I work as an X-ray tech, so I basically do that all day, and then I come home. And once I'm home, usually on my spare time, I basically, it depends on the day. If there's a TV show to watch, we'll watch that, and then I'll get ready for stream. Or if we're raiding that night, I'll get ready for that and stream. I've noticed that a lot of the times now I basically come home from work and I'm either taking a day off from streaming or I'm streaming. So not very exciting. I don't know if you guys expected me to be like a secret agent or something, but it's pretty simple. Maybe I am, and I'm just trying to lead you off the trail.
Very good job. Very good job. Well, I mean, that's good. It's nice to know that you have a normal life like all of us, and I think that's kind of what everybody needs to realize, is that we all have normal life. For me, this is just kind of a hobby. I get on every once in a while and do this, and then I go to work and have fun with that, but I don't really go to work. I work from home, so there's that too.
That's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, another question about you is, what classes do you prefer to play, and why do you prefer those to play?
So I normally main tank classes. I started off with Warrior. I am now playing Paladin, and I enjoy both. So I think just tanking as a role is what I enjoy doing in the game. I enjoy healing as well, not as much as tanking. I honestly just feel right at home tanking. It's just like a second nature to me sometimes. So of all the types of classes to play, I would definitely choose those.
Yeah. Well, do you when you tank, do you assume the leader role of the group too, or do you just kind of?
Not really. Like, I'll definitely take control of the pace of the dungeon and how fast we go and stuff, but I don't really like boss people around or anything.
Is that something that draws you into tanking? Is kind of being the
bossing people around?
Well,
No.
you know, driving the ship, kind of leading everyone.
I don't know. I don't know what it is exactly that I enjoy about it. So when I started WoW, I started as a feral druid like a really long time ago. So I was playing, like, I basically started playing MMOs as a tank. And I think I've come so far from that every other class that I've played, or every other role that I've played, because I switched to healing for a long time, for example, and it was just never the same. It didn't have, maybe it's nostalgia, maybe it's just the comfort zone that I'm in, but tanking has always been this thing that I've just enjoyed doing for whatever reason. And I don't know, I felt like I've always been decent at it. For things like DPS and healing, I always like overthink it, so I don't think I'm that good, or I can't focus enough for DPS, I guess. But for tanking, I just feel like it's more reactive. It's definitely much more to what I prefer as a playstyle. I don't know. It's just one of those things.
It's a pretty good answer. Well, why do you not like tanking Thorn March then?
Oh god. Mind you, I'm sure healing Thorn March is probably worse. So, I don't even know. Like, when we did hard mode Thorn March, and this is sort of where like the stigma came from, it was like that entire fight. Nowadays, it's really not that bad because I've been farming it for lights and stuff constantly. So it's really like simple, easy, like you don't even have to think about it. But back then, when it was like 18,000 Mughals doing 18,000 different things, and you're just like, I have no idea what's going on at all. It was, I don't know, for some reason, just the way that fight sat with me was just so uncomfortable that I just couldn't do it. So we only did like hard mode once, I think, and I didn't bother making a guide for it because I didn't even want to think about it. And so when Extreme came out, I was like, damn it, like, you know, I might actually have to make a guide for this because it's kind of a mess. And even making the guide for Extreme was like so hard because it goes against the very nature of how I like to explain things, and because it's so complicated and every single Moogle does like something completely different. It's just hard inherently to try to explain, and I think that's why I hate it.
Fair enough. I mean, I hated it definitely when I first started, but then like I figured it out and I made sense of all of the mechanics that were going on in my head, and you know, I eliminated all the nonsense that I didn't really need to know.
Yeah.
And it actually seemed kind of fun after a while, but then again, you have to kind of get used to it at that point too. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
It's
So,
never been fun for me, but I can appreciate the fight. It's just it's too much of like a mess that I don't like it.
well, going into kind of a little bit of a different direction here, I would actually like to know, how did your current static form? Did you just meet a couple of people who wanted to form a group, or were they like, oh yeah, you're Miztech, let's make a static, or what is it?
So basically, before I even started playing Final Fantasy, I was pretty much convinced that I was done with MMOs. Like, I had been completely burnt out from WoW, and I basically said, no more MMOs for me. And so I got into into Final Fantasy 14 playing the beta because a couple of friends were playing it, and they're like, you gotta try this, it's so good. So I was like, okay, like I'll give it a shot, and I enjoyed it. But I think I enjoyed it mostly because I was playing it super casually. Like, I leveled up super slow. I think it took me like 3 weeks to level up. And as I was doing it, I was just basically having fun with it. And so I ended up joining a guild that was like pretty casual. I think they raided once or twice a week. And it was almost the only guild or our free company at the time on Behemoth that raided at the hours that I would be able to raid, given like my work and stuff. So I ended up joining them. And through that group, I met my current static. So a lot of them basically were just like me, where they were sort of, you know, raiding a couple days a week or whatever. And I guess over time that free company basically had some issues, and my current static basically, or I guess 4 of the 8 people in the current static basically came away from there, and we basically formed our group like that.
Okay. Clear-cut answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Natural progression.
This is kind of a question kind of in regards to how hardcore you go at content when it first comes out. And I want to know, not at all, how long did it take you to clear static, or your static to clear T13?
I would say maybe about 2 or 3 months, maybe. And that's rating like 3 to 4 hours a week.
Okay.
So like most of the time we only raid like once or twice a week for about 3 to 4 hours, and that's pretty much it. Like, we don't even raid on reset day. We don't we usually raid Fridays of that week, or whatever week, even if it's like a new patch and stuff. So I think there are some of us that would like to raid a bit more, because we can, if you were to like compress the time that we spent on turn 13, it probably wasn't even that long. It was just the fact that we raid so little. But I think it's because a lot of us have like scheduling conflicts, so the chances, or like the times where it's possible for every single person to be online is literally like 2 days a week, not even. And because our FC is literally just our static, we don't have people to like sub in and out, so we basically just go. There have been like weeks where we didn't even raid because people were on vacation for like a couple weeks, and we just sort of go with it. We're not really that concerned about like world firsts or anything. We just sort of do what we can in the time that we have.
So you really just run kind of a casual group?
Oh yeah, I would say so. I think we try to down content, and we usually are pretty good at downing content far before nerfs and stuff, but we're not like crazy hardcore, oh my gosh, reset day, let's raid for 16 hours. That was me like 8 years ago, not so much anymore. And it's nice, you know, it's nice to just be able to like calmly kill stuff. That sounds weird, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I love to calmly destroy things.
Calmly, yeah, stab things, yep.
Yeah. So that's actually kind of interesting to hear. So this goes on. This kind of covers the next question. Then I was going to ask you if you've ever tried for a world first in Final Fantasy 14.
Probably not. No, since the beginning. So, like, I have friends, for example, Braddock. He was one of the first people on Behemoth to 50, and I think their group killed Ifrit hard mode first in the world or some silly thing like that. And it just, I don't know, I feel like as you get older, you just don't care anymore. So maybe it's that, maybe it's just because I went into the game, you know, being super casual, trying out this new video thing that I had an idea of, and so it sort of took a bit of the pressure off, and it's so much more enjoyable for the game now. It's an interesting feeling. It makes me feel old, but I don't know.
I completely agree with you, to be honest. I don't think I would ever have any intentions to ever wake up right after patch and then grind all the way until, you know, we clear it first, sleep for 5 hours, go again, grind some more. That doesn't seem appealing to me.
Once upon a time it was, and I probably will grind like power level up to 60 just because I hate leveling. But to actually push for content, it's too much to rely on 7 other people to, you know, be of the same mindset, and it's kind of unfair when there is that one person that maybe just doesn't want to push that limit. So if you have a group that has like 8 people ready to go, then good job.
Yeah.
But for us, it's just not a thing. Like it's not why we play the game anymore. So it's not a bad thing. It's just different.
All right, you guys heard it first. It's okay not to get world first. All right.
It's okay to enjoy the game that you're playing. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you want to go for world first, go right ahead. But if you don't want to, you just want to have fun, guess what? You're allowed to.
It's okay. All right. Well, you know, for a lot of players, it's really easy to get burnt out on the game after a while. You just get tired of doing the same things, especially if they've been playing for a very long time. What keeps you interested in playing the game?
Me specifically?
Yeah.
Or like our group? Okay. I give myself little stupid goals. Like, for example, right now, I have just, like, 2 weeks ago I finished my relic quest, which I said I would never get because it was pointless. And now it's actually, like, worth getting the relic. So I've been working on that, and I'll probably do the warrior one next. And right now I'm also, like, so back in the day I used to grind out the dailies, like, for, like, the goob mount and the, what's the other one? The little serpent thingy. But...
I remember.
No, it's not the Ixali. Whatever. The dudes in Southern Thanalan.
Okay.
And so after I did those, I moved on to the kobolds and the things with the S, the snake thingies.
Okay.
Again, bad with names.
It's fine.
But I got like so burnt out from it or whatever. But now I'm actually going back to doing those. I think Mr. Happy sort of made fun of me for not having the swag chair, and so I'm working on getting that because there's a chance that it might be a flying mount in 3.0, right?
Yeah, so. It will be. I think so.
Yeah, but I think I just give myself, like, I try not to rush things too much. Right now I'm sort of like working on pony farms, maybe doing the warrior relic quest. I'm kind of a little burnt out from the paladin one, but I actually got like the paladin tank mount finally, which is funny that I got it before warrior. Like just little things like that. I just sort of, you know, give myself a reason to play, and I don't force myself. Like if I don't want to play Final Fantasy that day, I won't. Like I'll go and play Bloodborne or GTA or whatever. You know, like I try to keep the relationship spicy.
Yeah, no, I can't believe how much I agree with that statement. It's just, if you're not having fun and you don't want to do it, you know, just cool off.
Why
you don't
bother?
have to grind. Yeah, you don't have to sit there and force your way through a relic. You know, if you feel an urge to do it, just do it. You know, there's no reason to kill yourself over it. So, besides Final Fantasy XIV, what other MMOs have you played, and why do you prefer 14 over those?
So obviously I played World of Warcraft. Warcraft.
Yeah.
You'd think by now I know how to say it. I dabbled a bit into a little bit of Guild Wars. I didn't really like it because you couldn't jump. I played Guild Wars 2 when it came out, but again, it didn't sort of draw me the same way like Final Fantasy XIV did. I greatly enjoyed Star Wars: The Old Republic up until the end game, where it didn't really exist, but it was such a good game up to then, and I loved it. It was great. And we did a lot of Rift. There was a moment in where I took like a break from WoW and I played Rift instead. So Rift for a little bit, then went back to WoW, and then I like dabble in Rift anytime there's like something to see, which isn't that much.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
And I think that's it. Uh-oh.
You glitched for a second. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, gosh, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I haven't played a lot of other MMOs, but the one thing that you mentioned that just hit home to me and this pisses off a lot of people who like Final Fantasy 11, is that I tried to play it and I couldn't play it after 2 days because I couldn't jump. Literally, I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm constricted to the ground.
Yes. It was just weird, especially in an MMO. Like, I understand in certain games, like Dead Space, for example, you couldn't jump in the first game. But after a while, you didn't really need to. Like, it was, you know, the play style was different. But in an MMO where, like, you're supposed to be running around the world and doing fun stuff, I don't know, which is a really silly thing to, I know, judge the game on. But for whatever reason, I just never got into it. I played WildStar recently.
Yeah.
I missed it. It had probably the coolest housing system ever. I spent hours in there.
I heard it didn't live up to a lot of the hype that people were saying.
That game was really good, actually. For
I
PvP.
enjoyed it a lot too. I think its downfall was its publisher and a lot of things being pushed through before anything was really ready. Sort of the same thing that kind of what happened to Star Wars. Just I don't know. I felt bad. Like WildStar it was great. Like I enjoyed it a lot, but I just feel like it wasn't ready, and it was too much pressure for it to like do stuff.
It still has potential.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll definitely see. Would you switch over to WildStar?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I played it for a while. I subbed to it for a while. But again, because I didn't have the time for it, basically, to raid in it, because I chose Final Fantasy over it. All I did in it was basically just the housing. Like, I gotta tell you, I wish I could show you my housing plot, because it is probably the coolest thing ever. And if it ever goes free to play, I really hope it doesn't, but it might, probably. I will log in there and get you some screenshots, but it was, like, and just the world. Like, I'm a huge sci-fi buff, so to have an MMO with like that sci-fi theme was amazing, and it had some of the coolest like Farside was a moon that you went on, and you had like altered gravity. Oh my god, it was so great. So much potential. But I don't know, again, developers and like publishers and money grubbing people.
I feel you. Okay, so another question, of course, about you is I want to know, where did Miztech come from? What's that name? How did that form?
So this, I think a lot of people in chat might know this one already, because I have been asked this quite a bit. I used to, it's also on our forums, the complete explanation. I feel a little embarrassed talking about the complete explanation because it's kind of stupid, and it sort of goes with when you're a young adult making decisions that you think are cool, but they really ever are not. Plus also, I don't know if Rin is in chat, but she always makes fun of me every time I bring it up. But anyway, so the tech comes from the word tequila, because at the time I thought I was being really edgy. And eventually that got shortened to tech, so I am in other games known as tech. You'll hear Sly calling me tech as well, like I respond to tech a lot. And so in WoW, when I first made my very first character, I added the Miz to pretend kind of like a Miztech, and then the Z's are there because, again, I was trying to be edgy.
Yeah.
Not at all. Actually, you're just trying to make me feel better, but that's okay.
That's hilarious. I didn't know it was after liquor. That's great.
It's just, when you're young and stupid and you think you're cool, yeah.
To be honest, the image in my head is technical. So if it makes you feel better, a lot of people who don't know that story probably can jump to technical.
That works. I'll go with that. That sounds good.
Just make a different story.
Okay.
My name, of course, is from childhood stuff as well. I was with a group of friends, and I was the only person who lived or was originally from America. Everyone else was different, and so I was the Frosty of the group, if that makes any sense. But it was awesome. I loved at least mostly loved that part of childhood. And I had one person from Jordan, one person from Mexico, one person from Bosnia, one person from, gosh, I can't remember at this point. It's been so long. Like when I was 12 years old, that's when I made this name.
Wow.
So,
and you kept it all this time? That's good.
I said mine as well. It's easy for me. Actually, I've changed my name recently in-game to Frosty. It was some weird name that I created, Ukun Brickmain, which is completely, no one knows what that's from. But this relates to my channel. I thought it was
Auken.
Auken. Well, Yukon, it's like A-U-K-O-N, so you don't even know how to pronounce it. I figured it should match up with the stream, so I changed it. But On the same board with you there. The last thing on that note, which you probably already have answered, is what's with the bread?
So this goes back to Alien Isolation. For whatever reason, I don't even know exactly how this started out, but I happened to be eating soup that day, and I had like a baguette, and I kept like stress eating because I was so scared. And so people in chat were like, Miz, you have to stop eating. Like, you're not allowed to eat any more bread until you die 25 times. And so for whatever reason, that just became a thing that, you know, I was rewarding myself with bread. And so that's when that picture that I have on my banner came up with me eating the bread. And I don't know, like, we basically just joked from that moment on, like, if I ever got subbed or partnered on Twitch, my icon for subs would be a piece of bread, which it now is. And it's just, I don't even know. It's gone on from there. It's completely, like, just exploded, but that's I guess, how it started.
Do you still eat a lot of bread?
I do. I love bread. I would also eat, like, Nutella, and I would, like, dip bread in it and stuff and just eat bread. I don't know. Stress eating, man.
Okay.
It's delicious.
I'm sure it is. I've only had Nutella maybe twice in my life.
What?
I don't know. I never jumped on that bandwagon with all the Nutella stuff. But I mean, I hear it's
bandwagon.
Great. Yeah,
it's
everyone
not
loves
a
it now.
Bandwagon.
Right?
It's a way of life. Here, let me
Okay.
show you something. This is what you need to try. So they make these things called. Not that I'm advertising.
Okay. Maybe I
But
can get
they
some
are
money off this.
basically
Go
like
ahead.
pieces of bread, like breadsticks that you dip into the Nutella, and it's really good.
Kind of like Pocky sticks or something
Yeah,
like that.
kind of, but it's Nutella, so it's delicious.
I will find some Nutella Pocky sticks and I'll send them your way.
Okay.
All right. So again, chat, if you guys, I apologize for the frame drops that are happening right now. It's just apparently Twitch hates me every once in a while, and they'll do that to me where it just completely drops. A lot of people are having that right now, where it drops for certain people at certain times. But hopefully the audio is still good. If the audio is not good, let me know and I need to kill somebody. But either way, if you guys have questions, keep them coming. We want to have as many questions as we can at the end that are collected from Gilly and Adagio for Miztech, so we can keep her here a little bit longer because we're already about past her time, but we have more questions to go.
That's where the duct tape comes in, right?
That's exactly when. Make sure to put it on.
Okay.
So the next section I want to go into is making guides, and I feel like we'll have a lot of input in this, and this is something I actually tried to make a guide once and it went horrible. But I want to just kind of ask you, when you first started making guides, what made you decide that that's something you actually wanted to do?
So this sort of goes hand in hand with that playing Final Fantasy in the beta, and I was like, I don't even know what came over me or how I got this idea, but it was just one of those random thoughts where I was like, hey, like, this is a new game coming out. Like, what if I were to do guides? Like, what if I were to just, as I did the dungeons, like, record myself and then do guides based on what I was playing or whatever. So it started off as just like a what if question, and it sort of snowballed into that's what I do now. Like, that's what I do for fun. I make guides. And I don't know, like, I honestly couldn't tell you what triggered it, like what made me start to think that. So I don't know. I wish I knew.
Well, I mean, that's, I guess, an okay answer. I'll accept it. I mean, you get that urge, I guess, when I started making a guide, I was just like, I really want to explain Triple Triad and go into detail about it. And then I was doing it with Windows Media Player. And the audio just, for some reason, went completely out of sync. That's after spending, like, all day working on it. And I just said, this goes in a folder over here. I'm not looking at it again. I'm done.
I do it separate. So I do audio on its own, and then I edit it into the video, so I don't have issues
No,
with...
I did that. And see,
Oh, yeah?
I did it separately,
Oh, okay.
and then I started recording over the video. And then just somehow, I don't know how I messed it up, I did. And I was like,
Oh.
done. Too much time.
That's so
I feel
strange.
depressing. Or I feel depressed. Anyways, okay, so you normally make dungeon guides. Is that kind of your thing, or do you have any other things that you want to expand on besides just doing dungeon guides?
So, shameless plug, I have actually been working on sort of like a tanking guide. So I used to have this thing a long time ago that I announced and never actually did called Press Your Buttons, and it was going to be a series of role guides. I was originally going to do class guides for each thing, and then I sort of realized, like, I don't actually play all these classes that I said I would. So I didn't really feel comfortable making guides for them. But right now I'm sort of working on tanking role guides, if that makes sense. So apart from dungeon guides, I think I might do a little bit of that. Again, it all is limited by how much time I have, or at least the lack of time that I have.
Right.
So keeping it to just dungeons is a really easy way for me not to get burnt out and not to worry too much about, not having the time to put out however many guides that I announce. So I like to keep it to just the dungeons, but I also, like in times like this where I have literally nothing to do, I start to look at other stuff like tanking guides or, I don't know, general like tips and stuff like that, which is what I kind of want to do, but it's hard. Time.
Yeah, I can feel you on the time part, and I don't know. It feels like it takes a lot of work. How long does it usually take you to make one guide?
A long time. So if it's like a dungeon, it's really not that bad because I don't have to like work with 50 like raw files of the fight like I do for a raid encounter. It's literally like a dungeon. I would just go into the dungeon, record it, and then write the script and make it. And it usually takes about a day or so. And then the actual raid guides themselves take about a week because I do spend quite a lot of time on the actual script and making sure that everything is okay before I actually record it. And then I have to put it all, or like piece it all together to the end product. So it does take a long time. And then of course it takes an even longer time to render, upload to YouTube, do all that stuff. But making it itself, I think, is the longest part.
All right. Well, so you kind of went over the general process there a little bit. When you start a guide, what makes you think, hey, I need to make a guide for this? Do you say, hey, new content's coming out, I'm going to grind that dungeon until I feel confident to make that guide? Or is it something else? Do you just try to make it for everything that you can hit?
So since I normally stay to the dungeons, if it's something like a dungeon, I guess it depends on the difficulty of the dungeon itself. I used to only run it once and then make a guide out of it like that. So when I was leveling up, I would just basically go through it as a tank. And then based on what I saw from the only file that I recorded, that's what the guide would be. And I noticed that over time, as things started to get harder and harder, it would get, I would miss a lot of things. And so what I actually started doing a couple patches ago, I would run the dungeon once as a tank, switch to healer, run it as a healer, switch to DPS, run it as a DPS. So that way I would get at least most of the role's perspectives, and if there was something in the first run that I missed completely, I would at least be able to pick up on it. And even that, honestly, I feel like weeks later you'll be doing like Keeper of the Lake and notice something that you completely just forgot or like never noticed up until then. So it's kind of hard to sort of cover everything just by what you're doing by yourself, but usually it's not that bad. Like for dungeons, I'll just do once or twice, at most 3 times if I feel like I need to. Funny story, actually, for Karn hard mode, a friend and I went into like testing things out on like that first boss, and same with Snowcloak, because I don't know if you remember, like Snowcloak was bugged or whatever, so you would get stacks no matter what you did or how you moved, and we literally did Snowcloak I think 50 times just for that first boss to see what the thing was, because I wanted so much to like not do it wrong.
Oh my god.
And then later on, of course, they said, oh yeah, it's broken, but now it's fixed.
I can't tell you how many times I got yelled at for not doing the right thing to get out of that. And sometimes it would work and sometimes it wouldn't work.
Yeah, it was so inconsistent that I was like, it's just not a thing. Like, you're just supposed to eat the stacks.
Yeah.
And then eventually they told us. But for raid content, it's definitely, because we go in there for like weeks at a time, by the end of it, you literally know everything by heart. So because I was recording the entire time, I usually know what, I guess, scenes I'm looking for. So if I'm looking for a way to pick up ads, I'll just like fast forward through all my raw files until I find a perfect scene of that and then just grab it for the actual video. So I feel like the raid guides are a little bit easier because they're a little bit more natural just from us progressing through the content, and I don't have to like worry about missing anything because by the time you kill the fight, you basically know what's going on.
I mean, yeah, when you clear it, and that's kind of another question I have for you, is like when you're going through and you're making these raid guides, is it normally, clear it, get all the information you can and make a guide, or is it kind of go through it, clear it a couple of times, then start using public information, find out what's the perfect strategy to go over, and then make a guide?
I think it depends on the fight. So, for example, when Final Coil first came out, we killed turn 10, I think, in the first week. So, when we were working on that, there really wasn't. It was just basically whatever everyone else was working on. So, when it's something like that, it's basically go in there, see what happens, and then adapt. When it's things like turn 13, where for us, we are a couple weeks behind, and many groups have killed it, and there are many different ways to handle certain things. I've noticed that we usually, we will look at certain things to pick up random things, but at the same time, we're still always trying to figure things out for our specific group. And so for the longest time when I was streaming turn 11, we used to do it in such a way that we were solo tanking the first two phases, or the first phase, excuse me. And people would come into my chat and be like, you're supposed to have like 2 tanks soak in the cleave. And we're like, listen, buddy, just let us do our thing. Obviously we're killing it. So we sort of kind of divert from the main strats sometimes. It really depends on the fight. It's hard to say. But we usually do what works well for our group. Again, we're just the same 8 people every single time. So we don't have the, I guess, luxury of subbing in 4 monks for Dragon Kick or,
right.
All that crazy stuff. So we basically have to figure out what works specifically for us. And I think that's usually how we do it.
Well, have you ever had a situation to where you made a guide and then you found something was just critically wrong with it and you had to go back and remake the guide or anything of that line?
I've never done it so badly that I've remade the guide. For example, in Pharaoh Sirius, which I consider to be my worst guide, it's because in the last phase I completely just not talk about Lunatic Voice, and I don't know why I completely missed that mechanic. I just, even in reading my script and thinking, oh yeah, that's good to go, let's continue on, for whatever reason, that one, or even in what was it, Circus Tower, the very last end fight, I say something completely awful because the way that we did it with our group was completely random. So when I put out the guide, it was literally 2 days or so after Circus Tower had been released. Or maybe it wasn't Circus Tower. Now I can't remember. Maybe it was CT? Anyway, so I made this horrible mistake where I told people to do the exact wrong thing, and so many people in on YouTube comments were no, you're supposed to stack up for this, blah 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 blah. And then so the only thing I've done, that was probably the absolute worst thing that I've ever done. I had to make an annotation that said, "Oops, so sorry, I was completely misinformed, I guess, or I misunderstood this mechanic. It is done this way, please follow this advice," or whatever. But to redo an entire video is just so time consuming that it's impossible almost. So the annotations on YouTube are great for that, but I think the biggest problem is a lot of my guides from years or 2 years ago now for turn 5, for example, are so outdated because people overgear the content, or with Echo it's completely different. And so for guides like that, I'm considering making an updated pre 3.0, here's what you need to do if you're going into it for the first time type thing. But it's just, I wish I had more hours in the day.
And I got a handful more questions. Are you still doing good on time? Or are you feeling
Yeah, I would say at latest 11:30. That's okay.
We're going to try. We're going to try for it. All right. And so the next one, I'm just going to combine these 2 questions. So do you handle all of the editing process yourself? And, do you do all the artwork, or do you have someone else do it?
Yep. It is all done by me. Up until...
Oh, no. I got it.
Okay.
I got it. I'm coming back.
Just went away.
I got it.
So I quite literally do everything. I'm not tooting my own horn. Every process I do on my own. Recently, I think since 2.4 maybe or so, I guess since second coil, halfway through second coil, I started getting some raid members to help me. So you may notice that I have different perspectives now. I have Texzilla and Bokchoy both giving me different viewpoints, and so they are now recording for me. Anytime we're close to a kill, they'll record, and Tech usually records the kill for us. So I'll have her viewpoint. I'll have Box because he'll record once we're close to killing it. And at the same time, I usually get Bach to read over my script. He used to make fun of me a lot of the times in the first, my first set of guides, because he'll be like, "Oh, you forgot to explain this mechanic properly," or "No, I think you should have explained it this way." So I was like, oh my god, he's judging me every video. Why don't I just get him to read the script before? And so he'll give me input and stuff. And like now I have him just, reading it before I actually sit down and record, so I don't have to like go back and forth and make these annotations. So aside from that, it's literally just me and my handy paint skills. If you're asking about the artwork,
Yeah,
I don't really have that much art.
Oh, my camera's doing all kinds of funky stuff, but it's okay. I'm going to stay on top of it. It'll stick with us, and it'll just flicker every once in a while. And that's the only reason I didn't want to do Skype for the window, but it's all right. For you, Miztech, I'll put it up there.
Okay.
So the last question about guides is kind of, if you have advice for anyone who wants to actually get into making guides, what would your advice be?
Probably it kind of goes hand in hand with the time thing. I don't think people realize just how excessive and like stressful it can be sometimes, and how much time you have to invest into it. I mean, I think it's easy to sort of do it super easy, but I feel like that directly affects the quality of your videos that you're putting out. And so if you're taking the shortcuts or whatever, like the path of least resistance, I don't think the quality of content that you're putting up is usually as good. So I would say if you are absolutely serious about doing guides or streaming even, like put in the thought beforehand and see what is reasonable for you to do as, someone living your life. Like, do you have the hours from work to do it? Do you have the time to play? Because if you think about it, I have to play everything that I'm making guides for, right? So I have to raid, I have to do the dungeons, and then I have to spend hours and hours making the actual guide. So I think that's probably the hardest part that people don't realize until they actually try it. But I would say as long as you mentally prepare yourself for the amount of effort required, you should be fine.
All right, that's a good answer. So, again, guys, if you have any questions, how many questions do we have so far, by the way, Gilly Adagio?
We have a good amount, actually. I'd say probably 15 to 20.
I'm sitting at, well, I only got
We
9.
might have to filter it and just kind of get the ones, you guys pick out the best ones in there, and we can ask those questions, because we might not have time for all of it, but find what questions we have. And
We
then
do like fire questions where I just answer yes or no.
Yeah, we could do that too. We'll do that. How about that? Unless if it deserves a good explanation,
Right.
then you can go into a little bit more detail. So the next step I want to talk about was streaming, and kind of when you first started to decide, hey, I want to go stream now. What was your motivation to get into that?
I think some of you may know this already, but a long, long time ago, well, not really that long, it's been like 8 months or so, I sort of did something very similar to what we're doing now, but without webcam, without like anything crazy. It was literally, do you guys know Sly, aka the Gray Flax, which I can never say?
Sure do.
So Sly actually was on Behemoth at the time, and he randomly messaged me and was like, hey, would you be up to doing like a Q&A for my viewers on my stream? And I was like, what's streaming? And this is like completely when I was like super new. Like I knew what Twitch was, but I didn't really watch it. I didn't get what it was really, and I thought I would never do it because it just didn't interest me at the time. But Sly had me on his stream, and we basically just chatted like this, and there were so many people that like asked questions, and they were like, Miz, like you should stream, blah 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 blah, and whatever. And seeing the way like Sly handled his chat and just the idea behind like forming a community just from something as simple as playing a video game and having people like laugh at you or talk to you, it just was so new to me, but also like amazing. I don't know, from that moment on, it sort of like planted the seed